Hey all, Rise55 here, welcome you back to Let's Play Genshi Ankokuden, where last time we beat up a Celestial, and now we're going to the Netherworld! But, not for reasons involving eternal pain and suffering. We're going there to save Satori, and to stop that one dark Sawako-like lady from opening the gates to the Netherworld! What would be bad, and we don't want that, and evil people, turns out, Sad of the true self, some crap like that. But, yeah, so that's the thing that happened last time. Now we're going and doing that thing, and that was about half a year ago. Oops. Yeah, that happened. I'm gonna see if I can try improving my rate of uploading videos to at least double. You know, once every 3 months. Okay, I'll try a bit harder than that, but yeah, before we really get started on anything, we did transition chapters, which means we have a bit of housekeeping to do, because, yeah, a bunch of stuff has changed. Now I'm loading up the old save file here, because there was a bunch of items that I got that I never actually synthesized, or sewn off, really, that we got. And some of them are kind of rather important. First off here being a jewel. Just, you know, a jewel. It doesn't really sound that important, right up until you go and check its description in the inventory, being that it's one of the 3 sacred treasures. I wonder what that could be all about. I mean, it says it's sacred, so that might be a thing. Go over here and check this other item here, though. We have a sword. I wonder what that's all about. Is that sacred as well? And indeed it is. So we have 2 of the 3 sacred items. There's 2 of the 3 sacred treasures. By the way, this is probably a reference to the 3 sacred treasures of Japan. Being a jewel, a sword, and I'll keep the last one as a spoiler, unless you actually want to go and look up history, in which case, you go have fun with that. Go learn some things on the internet. That's what the internet's for, right? Learning? That's what everyone uses it for, I'm pretty sure. Nobody uses it just to waste time and wants dumb streams on Twits. Alright, so... But in other news, though, we have some other items here, being the Sword of Hizo, what Tensi just kind of unceremoniously dumped into her inventory, when we got her. Tsukiki would be most unpleased. Hopefully we won't have to deal with her at all. Yeah, so, just, you know, the Sword of Hizo, it's just there. She didn't carry it in or anything, we just beat her up and then we just kinda picked it up off the floor. You know, it's kind of a thing. Next up is... If I can look at where I am in my list, I'm right on it! Great! The Trigram Rod. What you saw in the little side thing there? That's the level 4 spell card item. You get very few of these in the game. This is a finite... Yeah, this is a finite resource. You can only get... maybe 7? You can maybe get 7 of these things in the entire main course of the game. So, it's kind of a bit of a thing. Next up, and this will be the last thing here, being... Let's come up with new words that aren't next up, being... The Philosopher's Stone. Well, it's, as I may have mentioned before, is the strongest synthetic item you can get, by the way. If you use it as a synthetic thing between 2 max level items, you will get perfect synthesis. You will get the maximum that item, or that the second item, can give to the first. You'll get the maximum of that ability. So it'll be like, if it's an attack ability, it'll be the strongest it can be. If it's a stat ability, it'll be the highest it can be. You know, stuff like that. You get like 2 or 3 of these in the main game. Yeah, don't waste these on like dumb things. That, yeah, it's kind of a thing. But you might have noticed that was 1,558 to synthesize. You wanna know what else is 1,558? A cucumber. Yeah, just cucumber. Kappas run the economy. Confirmed. Yeah, so that's about it for the items we have. There's also a few items we can create with synthesis, turns out. The first up here being... We require... Hold on! Some of our characters are holding the items we require for this, because I just kind of innately put the items on the characters. By the way, for the Tengu Treasure here, don't synthesize it until Aku has learned the ability off of it. The ability the Tengu Treasure gives you is rather important, so don't forget to have Aku learn from the item before you go and throw it into synthesis, and resynthesize the other one. There we go. Good. Alright, but the items we can create now with those items we have... If I can find where these items are... And there it is. Okay. If we take the Tengu Treasure and combine it with... This would be somewhere around here. I'm scrolling down slowly instead of in any reasonable place. If we combine the Tengu Treasure with the arrowhead, we create... Nothing. We just added that to the Tengu Treasure. However, if we take this combined Tengu Treasure and combine that with a set of field notes here, we create... What's his name? We create Hieda Riziro's field notes. What's, Hey, Hieda, isn't that a potential relative of Aku? I like how we created this guy's book, or girl, I don't know. This person's book just by combining a few items together. Clearly we just kind of carbon copied it. Just, you know, that's just how you create books. You take a Tengu Treasure and an arrowhead, and then you... What does a Tengu Treasure even look like? It's like us having an artificial sun in our inventory. It's like, it's matter something. It looks like something. But yeah, now we have that, and Aku can learn an ability from this as well. Coughing aside. But yeah, Aku can learn a rather important ability from this. It's not as important, but it's really nice for Aku. So, do that, and do the thing. And the last item we're going to create here requires us to combine there it is, the rabbit's tail with... Was it up? Yes, it was. With the black feather. What's Reeson was learning something off of, so teach Reeson to sing first. Someone else could probably learn off this too. But if you combine these two items, you create the Tome of Sun and Moon. What's it saying? It's a tome of, you know, it's a thing. I guess rabbits represent the sun, and the black feather, presumably from a raven, would represent the night, or the moon, or something. Or maybe flip those, because moon rabbits. I don't know. Set up. Now, kind of the thing with the Tome of Sun and Moon is that it isn't actually that particularly useful. If you add some levels to it, you'll get the abilities to summon clear weather, you know, erase current weather, and you'll get the ability to summon moon weather. What's, you know, it kind of makes sense. It's the Tome of Sun and Moon. There's also a spell card for a character you can't get in the game. What's his... Or was it... No, it wasn't that. No, it's a spell card for Sane. Never mind. I'm thinking of a completely different item. I apologize. I think it was like Gray Sumavirvidity something or other. But yeah, just a spell card on that for that. But there's nothing you can learn off of it. If you notice this line right here, the line with in the yellow text, and the stars beside it, this means that characters in your part, or characters in general, can learn abilities off of this item. The Tome of Sun and Moon doesn't have that. You can't learn anything off of it. However, what it is useful for is its synthesis ability. When you add this onto an item using synthesis, and having a synthesis catalyst, that's the word I was looking for, catalyst. You will actually add the ability Spirit Up. What's increases the rate at which your spirit charges during the battle, as the time goes by in the battle, which is pretty nice. You can get up to spirit up +5, but to get +5 you need to use the Philosopher's Stone, so just use a temperament, it'll just be +4. I mean, what's +1 spirit to sing? I don't know. I haven't really noticed much of a difference from spirit up, but that's just kind of a thing. But yeah, that's to be about it for the items that we're screwing around with. Now let's go to the items that are directly on our characters. Because I did change a few of those. It's kind of anything. Let's load up the current save file after having grinded all of our stuff and done all of the things. I have no score because I may have spent all my money on stuff. I did do a bunch of grinding, so I did get a bunch of score from grinding, but I also spent a bunch of score from items, because synthesis. I did a lot of it. Let's go through our characters here. Let's take a look. Here we have Utsuho, who is currently a Hell Raven with Yatagarasu. I like how there's just a Whis in there. It says Whis. Not even. Not like the and symbol or 2. Just Whis, you know. Okay. But yeah, so we have some abilities that our characters have since learned of. As I find where I am in my list. There I am. So Utsuho here has learned Laser, which is kind of nice, so we don't have to rely on Heat Beam for range. Now we don't have to line ourselves up exactly with the target. We can just kind of go, oh, you're within 4 range. Zap. And we also have Plasma. Or, Plasma. I'm sorry. Commons Great Adventure. Yes, we have Plasma. It may look weak if you note the 30, beside the power, but it deals percentage damage. So right now it deals 30% damage to the enemy, and we've mastered it, so that's the max it can do. It starts out at 10%, which is pitiful, so you really do have to master it for it to be at all useful. But yeah, so that's a really nice thing for really tough enemies. Chances are, if it's a absurdly tough enemy, it'll probably just miss, knowing percentage damage things. I also learned a couple spell cards, being Artificial Sun. What's we learn from the Artificial Sun, turns out. It's kind of a thing. It does an AoE thing, as it says, like, right here. This means AoE, I'm pretty sure. And we also learned Abyss Nova, which is 1 to 8 range, which sounds amazing! We can't use it. We just can't. It requires a level 5 spell card. There are only 2 sources of a level 5 spell card in the game. And, well, okay, technically we do have access to one of them, I think. But, yeah, that's kind of a thing. Yeah, require a level 5 spell card. And to be honest, yeah, Abyss Nova isn't that great. At least in my opinion, because, it's a self-centered AoE target. It deals damage to everything within 8 tiles. I'm not good with those abilities. This is also part of the reason I never use Sane, because all of her abilities are self-target AoE. By the way. Yeah, so that's self-target AoE, 1 to 8 range. Yeah, it's just gonna hit your entire party, if you have a party existing. And usually most battles I do, Utsuho dies first. So, yeah, you're never gonna really have a situation where it's just Utsuho. So, that's a thing. I can probably show it off when I do get a level 5 spell card available. Well, we do free battlings and stuff! Don't crack your voice like that, please. But, yeah. On Utsuho's items, I currently have her with a Magic Up item, which increases her magic. Also, Laser. I had this item on Aku previously, so that she could actually do Laser. It wasn't that good. We also have a Bentler on her, which does Defense. Have a level 4 spell card on her, which I had to sacrifice our Trigram Rod for. And we also, this is where the Tomo-san Moon went. We now have a Spirit Up +4 on Utsu. Note that Utsu already had Spirit Up +6, so now she has Spirit Up 10. It's pretty great. Now we can start all of the spirit, all of that team spirit to overthrow the... Right, please. Alright, so Mistia here didn't learn anything, because we haven't really gotten any new items that she can learn from. I think there's only, like, maybe 2 more abilities he can learn, and they're both from the same item. I think. There might be more, I forget. But yeah, so she hasn't really learned anything. I've already covered her, mostly. The main changes I've made to her are for her items. You remember I have Tibetan dolls on her, which increase her evasion? I synthesized more Tibetan dolls onto our Tibetan dolls so we can have more Tibetan dolls. Or more evasion, that is. So, yeah, kind of the thing with the dolls is that if you synthesize them onto an item, they'll just straight up give you stats. And the Tibetan dolls give you evasion. Have I mentioned... No, I'm not going to go free battle yet. Have I mentioned you can buy Tibetan dolls in the shop? That is amazing. And now you can just add evasion to, like, everything. Except for I'm not actually going to do that because that'd be boring. But yeah, so you can just buy Tibetan dolls now, which is where I got that, and that may also be where I got all of these Tibetan dolls, which is kind of have for reasons. These reasons will be explained, I assure you. But yeah, so now Misty has plus 18 evasion from what she had before, meaning she now has 128 from where before it was 110. So, yeah, doing the Tibetan dolls onto it doesn't really give much, but it helps. Also, for one of the Tibetan dolls, I used the Philosopher's Stone, which is why we have 10 on one and 8 on the other. Because on this one, I just use the Temperament. On this one, I actually used the Philosopher's Stone because I did. Because Mistia. That's really the main reason. But yeah, so now, bunch of evasion. It's pretty great. Alright, Mimizi. Mimizi learned some things. Yeah, she learned some things. She learned Summon Crow, or Crow Summon. What's legit lets her summon a crow, which is pretty great. You'd think this would be Aya's thing. You know, Aya being in the game. You know, here she is. You'd think Aya would summon crows, but Mimizi was in the game before Aya, so Mimizi got the crow summon. She also now knows Block, which allows her a % chance to innately negate physical damage or any physical attacks. So that's kind of a thing. I don't think there's anything else here. I'm just getting concerned of my computer making sounds as I'm trying to record here. I heard a grinding noise and well, I'm a tiny bit concerned. Rin here learned Melissa's Sign, Spleen Eater. What's his level 4 spell card? What's he can't use it because we only have level 1 on her, in fact. Yeah, so he's not going to be able to use that for a while. There's another spell card he can learn, which he hasn't learned yet. That's I guess we haven't found the item for that. This is kind of a thing. So that's a thing. Nothing really notable with the items. I don't think I've changed the items much for a number of characters. For Risen, here's her items, which have been completely unchanged, so that's why I'm looking at them. But Risen here has learned a few things. He has learned Headshot, which, as I've explained before, it allows you a % chance to instantly kill an enemy, which has, of course, minus 100 accuracy, so you need accuracy to actually buff that. She also learned Self-Destruct. she can legit up and blow up now. This will instantly kill her, though, is kind of the thing, so, it's kind of more of a last-ditch effort, and in case you are, I don't know, completely out of remote hypnosis. You might notice I also have 1 star of Mastery next to it. It's really hard to get Mastery for this skill because you can only use it once per battle. Like, legit, you go into the battle, you blow up Risen, and then you just have to beat the battle, and then go into a new battle to keep grinding up Mastery to make it, like, actually do damage. So, it's not a great ability, so... If you can grind up the Mastery for it by blowing up Risen forever, then that's the thing, but, I'm probably not going to use it that often, unless I'm like on the last enemy, and I just have Risen and Mystia left. Because Mystia would only be the only one left, I mean, obviously. Here we have this new spell card for Risen being Illusionary Moon, Lunatic Red Eyes. What's, sort of an AoE Confusion spell, or AoE Confusion attack. You know how the Remote Hypnosis does Confusion 2? This does Confusion 1, which is effectively the same, except you don't have direct control of the units. So it's sort of inferior, but you can use it on It's an AoE, so you can use it on multiple enemies. I'm pretty sure it's AoE. Yeah, self-target AoE. 1 to 3. It's an only target enemies, I'm pretty sure. Unlike Abyss Nova. Also learned a couple of weight commands, being Survey, which increases your range. That's kind of nice, you know. Being her main attack is Sought, you know. It's pretty good. Have 1/6 range, and she also knows critical rate up or certain kill, which says critical rate up. I got that completely wrong order. All right, I'm giving myself a headache. Oh boy, how will I survive the battles? I won't. Anyways, Chewie here knows Moonwalk, so now she can be one with the moon rabbits by walking on the moon. Earth rabbits are kind of a thing. She also knows Jump, because rabbits jump, unless you have them in a cage, in which case they just stare at you and those pleading eyes, or those indifferent eyes. I don't know, but I've only... Moving on. She's also learned Rabbit. She knows how to rabbit. You know, I'd expect Tui would know how to rabbit. But no, this is a summon spell, or a summon skill. This lets her summon a rabbit. It's kind of a thing. Oh, and I guess the thing I have to note about the summon skills is that the class of unit that you summon is based on your own class. So if you're class 3, you'll summon a class 3 unit. It's pretty great. This means you cannot summon a class 4 enemy, ever. Which is kind of saddening. It'd be really cool to summon those monstrosities. But yeah, that's the thing. And lastly, she also knows physical status resist, which is, it's nice, I guess, but, Now, okay, this is a bit of a spoiler for the end of this chapter. For the end of this chapter, you're gonna want 10 battle-ready units. I went and made 11, because, well, I had some extra time while I was grinding. While I was grinding up some of the skills that took longer to, you know, learn. So I grinded up a few other characters. But yeah, by the end of the chapter, we will want 10 units in general. And I guess this will also help with some bit of variation in our battles here, so that we aren't using, oh, I don't know, Mystia, Utsuho, Mimizi, Rin, and Risen. That, you know, that's kind of a thing. So, yeah, set up some more units. It's kind of a thing. I don't think I ever really used Alice. Let's go over Alice. Alice is a person. She exists. In that one place. Do I have a list of her abilities? That'd be nice. No, but I have her spell cards. That's nice. But, Alice here knows Move, Magic Attack, Laser, Summon Shanghai Doll, Horai Doll, War Sign Little Legion, Magic Sign Artful Sacrifice, Testing Goliath Doll, and, is that Magical Attack up? Magical Attack up. And, Defend. Yeah, if you haven't really realized from when we fought Alice before, Alice's whole thing is summoning dolls. So she can summon 4 Shanghai dolls and 4 Horai dolls. When Alice gets to class 3, she can actually instantly summon Shanghai dolls. She can summon a Shanghai doll and continue using her turn. It doesn't actually end her turn. Horai dolls will, as will Goliath doll. You can summon 1 Goliath doll into battle, and it's kind of a thing. Just, you know, summon a Goliath doll. Haven't really used much of them. I think they actually have 2 life bars, so that's kind of the thing. I haven't really found a use for them, though. I mean, besides for damage sponges. Aku here, who is here, she exists. If you have any OCD about the levels of the characters, or if I've just triggered that by mentioning it, there's a perfectly good reason for me leaving Aku at level 29, and that may be somewhere seen on the screen. It's a really dumb reason, but a really good dumb reason, I guess. But, yeah, I'm not gonna level her up for reasons. But anyways, besides that, Aku learned a few abilities. She's learned Throw. What's, effectively lets her throw items in our inventory. There's a bit more to it than that, but it's effectively her only innately learned offensive ability. What's his... Now she can attack, which is pretty great. She learns this from the Tengu Treasure, which is why you want to learn from the Tengu Treasure. But on top of that, she's also learned Rains Up +2. Which he learned from the Hieta Rezero's field notes, whatever. When she's class 3, she'll learn Rains Up +2. When she's class 2, she'll only learn Rains Up +1. But that'll get promoted to Rains Up +2 once she gets to class 3. But, yeah, she has Rains Up +2, what's pretty great. And to complement that, I went and added a cucumber to her to increase her range by another 1. I was gonna increase her range by 2. I was gonna add a second cucumber to her, but for reasons, I have an accuracy up on her. To increase her accuracy for a very specific purpose. So, that's the thing. Also, she knows laser, which won't be at all useful, because it's... it's really weak. But yeah, so that's why the range for Scan is so high, because now she has +3 range. So, that's kind of a thing. Here's Tensu. She exists. We're moving on. Okay. So, Tensu here, we've kind of talked about her in the previous video. Pretty sure she has... Do I have her immediately available on my list? I do, actually. Like, we have Move, Assault, Physical Attack, Strike, Body Slam, Hyper Speed Spin, Laser, Spirit Sign, Sword of Meteorological Revelation, Earth Sign, Sword of Unyielding Earth, Scarlet Weather, Rhapsody of All Humankind, and a bunch of other things. We've mostly covered this before in the previous video, in fact, I'm pretty sure. For items, I just kind of have defense up and physical resistance. To be honest, it doesn't seem like defense does much. I mean, maybe it's just the enemies I'm fighting, maybe I'm just getting hit by more magical attacks, but defense doesn't seem to do a lot for magic. So, it's kind of a thing. Still gets 2-sod most all of the time. Anyways, here we have Sawako. We haven't seen Sawako in a while. She's learned some abilities, because we only got her at, like, class 2. But, she's learned some abilities. I forget which ones you didn't know before, so I'm just gonna go through all of them. So those Move, Jump, Magic Attack, Weather, Rain, Ancient Zaid, Moria, or Spring Sign, Moria Clearwater, Water. Frognap can always hibernate. We don't have the spell card I have next in the list. But we do have Scourge God, Misagumi-sama. Misaguchi-sama. There. I'm saying it wrong all my life. We also have think that's Magic Attack up. Yeah, Magic Attack up, Heat Resist, Water Resist, Weather Proficiency and Rain, and Spirit up +4, also sealed. So, yeah, Suwako exists. I will note one thing about Suwako. She does not have 518 HP innately. When, her innate HP, by the way, is 200. What makes her a prime suspect for getting destroyed by anything that hits multiple times. So I kind of went and added a few HP up items to her. I'm pretty sure at this point this item should do about 150 plus 80. That's 230. 230 plus 80 again. Yeah, it should be about 310. So that's about 310 HP per life bar. So that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, so I have this on her. Synthesized a, is this a France doll? Please be a France doll. I don't actually remember what doll this is. But I synthesized that onto a second doll. So now I have the synthesis for this, what's the temperament, is 80. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. I also added a cucumber onto her because there's a number of enemies out there that can just outrange her completely. Because her usefulness is kind of limited. She does not have any move and use abilities, and her target priority is rather high, which is why you need some HP on her. So that's kind of a thing. Yeah. So now she has 1 to 4 magic rains and 1 to 5 for her spell card. I'm still missing that one. We saw Dark Suwako use it, which was Hellas Heat Geysers. Which is kind of a thing, which we'll probably want at some point. Man, that frog nap. Anyways, next up here we have one lady who might exist. I'm not sure. There might be a person here. I'm kidding, it's Koisi. Who... She's a person, she exists. We fought her back in Chapter 2 when we brought Satori back to that one area where, you know, she was kind of hidden. Koisi here knows Koisi. It's good to know yourself. That's a good thing. That's a bug with every single character that was added in a PATS, by the way. They just have their name in their list. I don't know why. Yeah. Meh. But yeah, she knows Koisi. She knows... Do I have a list for her as well? I think I do. Hold on. No, but I do have her spell cards. But she knows Move, Magic Attack, Stealth, Response, Yokai Polygraph, Rekindles, the Embers of Love, and Philosophy of a Hated Person. What's we can't use, by the way. Magic Attack up. Some sort of status resistance. I think that's to, the stat drops in general. Ease of targeting -2. Accuracy up +10. Evasion up by 35. And whatever this is! I can remember these things. But, yeah, so kind of this whole deal with, Koisi. Or maybe I'll leave that for later. Yeah, we'll use Koisi in a bit, but, we'll talk more about what Koisi is all about later. Because that's sort of a thing. On her right now I have, 2 Magic Up items. Because. Also a level 4 spell card, so that she can use her spell cards. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. It's kind of the thing with her is that all of her spell cards require really high level spell cards, but they cost very little. In contrast to Utsuho, who requires a level 1 spell card to use this, while it costs about 3. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, when we leveled up Utsuho from level 2 to class 2 to class 3, Mega Flare changed to Petaflare. I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes, but it has a new name! This is exciting! And I think it might do more damage. That's the thing. So yeah, that's been a thing. It's been, holy crap, probably 25 minutes. Welcome to the menus episode. And yeah, that happens every once in a while. Holy crap, my head. I might need to give myself a bit of a break here.